to like send this to everyone on top of that too. So still waiting for it to go live. Hold on. Second. Okay.
Good.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, still just going Facebook Live. Just
you're all right.
Page. And okay. Perfect. We should be all set.
Yep.
Good on your end?
Yep.
Okay. What are we at? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. Welcome to the DJ Dani Show on HamiltonRadio.net, stream HR2. We're actually on HR1 today due to home studio because of coronavirus. But I am very honored and blessed to have my guest here today. Joining me on video, I know that was super last minute too. So I really appreciate you. I don't even know if it was like a huge issue or anything, but I'm thankful that you were able to that you could be on video with me for the interview because it just makes
No, absolutely. I love StreamYard and the way that it gives, shows like yours the ability to come on and do like the Facebook Lives and stuff. Most video and everything. So yeah, it was no problem at all.
Well, I'm so glad I have Ashley Wineland here, everyone. Everybody knows her being an amazing country artist all over the world. And we're going to just bring up like a little bit of your past and stuff for other fans that want to get to know you and myself. Because there's a lot of biography out there, but then there's some stuff that, you don't put out there. So you leave it open for interview, definitely.
It's true.
So Ashley, what age were you when you first got interested in music?
So I started, at least as far as my music education goes, from a very young age. I think I was about like 9 or 10 when I started my school education through band. I played trumpet throughout all my grade school, all the way through high school kind of years. So that's where I really kind of like got to step my toe into kind of the realm of music. It helped give me a good foundation to what I do today. But as I started getting a little bit older, I had more opportunities arise where singing became a thing, school choir, talent shows, all that good stuff. So it was kind of playing around with those opportunities as they came up and just learning more about music, and my passion for the arts really grew. And it was about the time I was around like 13 or so that I really was like, wow, I love singing and I love songwriting, and it's something that I want to do and pursue more. And I was very lucky to find my mentor, Brian Cuban, who's also my producer, at the age of 14, really took me under his wing, showed me the ins and outs of the music industry, how to write songs, how to function in a studio, put a band together, go on tour, all that stuff. He really showed me the ropes of, and just kind of from there, it's snowballed to what you guys get to see today.
Wow. No, that's seriously amazing. I love how it just started. So it started a little bit when you were 14?
Yeah, the music and singing, songwriting, studio work.
Where you were just getting like a bit of what you wanted to do and put yourself out there, kind of.
Absolutely.
Songwriting and everything, because that definitely takes a lot of skill, especially I'm sure you're extremely professional now. But back in the day when you were still trying, did you have any problems like just writing or anything? Did you ever have like writer's block?
Oh, I mean, I still have writer's block all the time, but it's one of those things where I definitely have developed more versatility in writing. When I started, I was a strict lyrics have to come first, and then we'll add melody and music to them later. But now inspiration and how songs get started can come in any form. Like I'm Gonna Ride, Daddy's Free, my 2 newest singles, came about from me sitting in my rehearsal room, playing around with just some chord progressions on my guitar, and, personal inspiration and those sounds tied together really brought those things to life. Where as earlier in my career, that would have never happened that way. But as I've gotten older and played around with music and learned more about theory and just how everything works together, I've definitely broadened my horizons as to how to bring my songs to life.
No, that's definitely exciting. But where do you feel like the type of genre came in with your mix of everything? I know you're born and raised from
Arizona. Yep. So country music has always been one of those things that's just been around since I was young.
Yes.
Whichever side of the family you look at, they came from that sort of community. And it was just one of those things that was just ingrained. Like I always love to tell the story of how every day coming home from grade school, my grandpa would be sitting on our back patio And he would pull me into his lap and sing Hank Williams' Tear in My Beer to me, like without fail, almost every single day coming home from school. So country music was, again, always around. And I love the storytelling element of it. I think country music is just that genre of life. Like it really speaks to everybody, regardless of who you are, where you come from, how you were raised, that sort of thing. You could always find a country song that relates to you. So being somebody who loves stories and that sort of creative medium in itself and the sounds that come with traditional country music, it was kind of a no-brainer. I didn't entertain any other genres when I started pursuing, you know, what I wanted to do on a professional level. So country music has just always been there for me.
Was it ever like anything else? I know you said you love country and you're from country, but were you ever looking like into pop or anything? 'Cause sometimes a lot of people like to say that pop and country are the same thing, even though they're not even close.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I would necessarily put those two in the same on the same tree, but you know, I enjoy those genres of music. It's just from a professional level, what I want to create, how I hear things in my head.
Yeah.
Pop has never entered the equation. It's always been country music. I always hear country sounds, the instrumentation of real guitars and the fiddles and banjos and mandolins. Like that to me is just like, oh, that's so cool. And when I hear things in my head and I want to bring them to life, that's the instrumentation and the style of sound that I hear with it. So,
who do you feel like some of your inspirations are? Maybe for you, just writing music.
You know, like I said, inspiration comes from a lot of different places. So as far as artists and stuff go, I always love to see what everybody in the industry is doing. You never know what you're going to find. But I also think there's a lot of inspiration to be had from the older generations of country music, especially looking through the different eras like the 60s and the 70s, where there were so many different experimental sounds that happened that made country music what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
But even for lyrical inspiration, I love to pull not just stories from my own life, but stories from other people's lives. I've had quite a few, like Family Business. That's not necessarily a personal story to me, but it is about my family's history and their stories. And so bringing those types of things to life too is always a source of inspiration for me.
Oh, wow. I love that. I think that's amazing how it all inquires into your family too. You know, how like being a musician, you can always have your family to rely and like be there for you, or just always support you. Definitely. And I feel like that's a huge stepping stone when you are a singer-songwriter. You have that support all the time, always there for you. And then your friends come out and a lot of your fans, and that's how you start gathering yourself, you know, as a musician.
Absolutely. Yeah. The core support group is definitely important. I'm very blessed to have always had family who's been extremely supportive of what I do. It was just a matter of, you know, like, hey, how can we best support you to help make this thing come to fruition? And then, as you mentioned too, you know, having really awesome friends and stuff that go on and tell other people about your music, it helps to grow the community. And of course, social media these days too is amazing. And I know that I have such an incredible community here on social media. So I just want to say a big thank you to them for helping us get to where we are at today. It's the fact that they have become like family to not just me, but to the other people in the community that have allowed us to progress as far as we have.
Yeah, and they're socializing in the chat room as we speak.
I see the comments coming up on the screen. I see a lot of familiar faces. So hello to everybody.
No, if you have any shout outs or anything you see, whether it's like a comment that comes up, anything, you're more than welcome to announce it or everything that you would like to say. I know you're getting a few questions. Like Mark said, the wild horses in your video. Are there wild horses in your video? I'm going to ride.
Yes, absolutely. So if you go and watch the new music video for I'm Gonna Ride, it's up on my Facebook page. You can also find it on YouTube. The only horse in that video who's not wild is Ringo, which is the horse that I'm on throughout the video. So every other horse that you see within that video is a wild horse. We shot that particular video down by the Salt River. So if anybody is familiar with the Salt River wild horses, those are those animals. And we were so blessed to have them just kind of grace across our camera during our shots. and stuff. And if you'd like to learn more about them, Salt River Wild Horse Management Group is a really awesome organization who's taking care of those animals and making sure that the herd stays maintained in a safe and healthy way. So you guys can go check them out there too, learn more about the horses that you see in the video and all that good stuff.
That's amazing. I also know that you do a lot of charitable work sometimes when you're not writing. I know you work with a lot of animals and veterans and everything, and I think that's beautiful that you give your 2 cents back. You know, you give it back to the community.
Thank you. Yeah, no, definitely animal welfare and of course the Veterans Affairs are something that's very near and dear to my heart. So whichever and whenever I can help, I always like to give shout outs to those organizations that do such incredible work. And there are so many of them. And Salt River, when in regards to wild horses, is not just one of the only wild horse management groups. There's some all over the country. So you have wild horses and stuff in your area, definitely look up who your local horse management groups are, because they are the ones that are kind of standing on the front line to protect those animals and help take care of them in the long run.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, give yourself back, promote. I mean, there's not that much promotion right now with the pandemic that we deal with a lot of people either helping out animals or any, veterans either. So it definitely is amazing once in a while when you can hear that or know that there's still somebody out there, a musician that wants to give back. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, and there's so many different ways, even if you can't necessarily do something in person, for you to give back or even raise awareness for those causes and stuff. So there's always a way, especially now with the internet. You have lots of options to help out different organizations in your community.
Yeah, no, definitely. I wanted to get a little bit back into where you were starting to get more interested in music. I know you said Brian helped you when you were 14. Shortly after doing the songwriting and everything, maybe getting a more stepping stone to what you wanted to pursue. Then how did you start with doing like on-stage concerts, or did you do open mics? How did you get your voice out there?
So my very first live performance with the band was actually my CD release party for my very first album, which was titled Family Business. And I was very, again, thankful for Brian in that regard, because he helped me put together the group that I did that show with. And Nick, who is my drummer, has actually been with me since my very first show. So when you guys see Nick on our Friday Lives and stuff,
I saw that on your
Facebook. From the get-go. Yes. Yeah, he's been around for a long time, as long as Brian has. And, it was just one of those things where we did and still do a lot of fairs and festivals in our area. We're really fortunate to have a really strong community in that regards. And as I got older, definitely just growing our opportunities to go out on the road. And stagecraft's just one of those things that you learn through trial and error and experience, and going back and looking at the shows that you did and being like, okay, what did we like? What did we not like? What can we do to be better? And all that stuff. So we really take everything into consideration. We want to put out the best show for everybody. And that is still our main objective, whether it's a live stream or it's an in-person show. We get to see you guys face to face. So yeah, that's just really how we've done it over the years. Has had a lot of opportunities come our way, which we're very grateful for, and just continue to build and develop our show as the years have gone on.
And then that also helped with a lot with your fan base and you writing more music and traffic and everything, which is beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. That can be like a heartache sometimes. That can be like the hardest thing to encounter, not even just fans, but sometimes when you're starting to get more ahead of yourself, like as a musician and you're writing and everything, you can get a little overwhelmed. Do you ever feel like you deal with that situation? Like you've had to, step back from it a little bit or anything?
Because being an independent artist is literally a full-time job, there are moments of overwhelm. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
Where it's just like, okay, those pressures, like, it just seems like there's a million things to do. And being somebody who's a part of, luckily, I have a small team that helps me out, which is amazing. But,
yes.
At the end of the day, you're like, we're only so many people, right? It can be overwhelming. But I find that really coming down to clear communication with the team, making sure that we're all really organized and on the same page can help mitigate that feeling of overwhelm, and really just keeping the overall big goal in mind, which usually for us is putting out really amazing content to our community and getting ourselves out on the road playing shows so we can bring that sort of content to people live and in person and touch those people. those sorts of connections. Like I said, remembering the big overall picture of why we do what we do, and just being organized can really help that.
Yeah, and that's the best way and the beautiful way to look at it, so you don't have to deal with that situation. But I know with being a musician, sometimes that can be hard. So I didn't know if there was anything where you ever had to deal with that. But even though you have a team around you, I'm sure that they can handle that and you wouldn't have to.
Right. No, I'm very, very grateful for my team. They help me do so much. Like I said, we are small, but we are mighty. And I know, like, right now we're in the throes of trying to put together another tour for later this year and stuff. So that's been a lot of work for us, but everybody's really excited and energized from that. So it is our goal to try to get back out on the road where we're able to and perform for people and bring our new music to everybody live.
That's going to be the new one that's Daddy's Creed, correct?
So Daddy's Creed was our first single off of this upcoming album.
Okay.
Yep, and that one came out in November of last year. We had I'm Gonna Ride, which released January this year, which is the title song of the album that we are working on right now. So we have a couple more singles, that we had planned for the year, and then of course the album will come out.
But you said you're talking about touring. Like, you guys, are you looking, because you're in Arizona now, correct?
Yes.
So is Arizona open?
Arizona is open to a degree. We just really kind of opened up our capacity and like our businesses and stuff. So everybody's kind of getting back up on their feet.
Yes.
Getting everything organized. But live music is happening in the state. So there's opportunities here. But I know we also have friends out of state in our neighboring ones like Texas and stuff. But we're even looking at making our way through the South into like Florida and everything like that too, kind of hitting up all those states down there. So we're still working on routing and putting those shows together and everything. But yes, we are looking to do a tour that takes us out of Arizona as well.
That would be amazing and super beautiful. I live in New Jersey and we're still shut down. So if you ever happen to make it around us, that would be great.
We would love to make it up to that area. It's just we haven't had quite the opportunities to line up to get us up there. But I know for we call them my Northeast quadrant fan base, we are definitely working really hard to make our way out to you guys when the opportunities are right and when everything can line up so we can have a nice, successful tour to make our way up there.
No, definitely. I think that would be great. Even getting back on tour right now, that'd be amazing for you. And I love your music. Like I said a little bit before, I know we were talking a little bit off air about some of your tracks. I know we were talking about I'm Gonna Ride. Now, when you hear that title, not even that it's your EP cover or title that you said of your album, I'm Gonna Ride seems like it's going to take you on a ride, but it's going to be a positive one. Like, there's something that's going to be amazing deep down the road. What do you feel as if you were putting behind that track?
I think you really captured that really well just through the title. That is really the intention. This song is one that was written from a place of really trying to find that era of self-empowerment and that I'm going to ride. I'm going to do it. No one can tell me no. No one can stop me. I'm going to go out and do what I have to do. Even if I don't know exactly what that is right now or where that's going to lead me, I just need to have faith in myself and what feels like is right and just take life by the reins and go. And I really try to encompass that feeling with the, lyrics and the vision and the sounds of riding through the desert. To me, that's just a really liberating feeling, being on horseback and just going. So, I mean, whatever you imagine yourself riding in, just flying top down, wind in your hair, kind of like feeling, and just taking your life by the reins really is the overall theme of the story in this song. This I'm Gonna Ride is for you.
And when you were creating that song shortly after, I know you were thinking of planning the music video. Where did that come from? Was it like something that was behind the song that you just wanted to initiate in the video, or?
No, see, when I write my songs, I am a very visual person. So I like to have that visual of what I could picture the music video being in my head as I write it. Very movie-like. I am a film and media studies major. It just comes out. But No, with I'm Gonna Ride, it was just, I had that image so strongly ingrained in my head as I was writing it that when it came time to say, hey, let's make a music video for this, I was like, I know exactly what I want and like how I want it. And luckily, we have some amazing people in our local community. aztrain.com is the one who I worked with to scout all the locations and, of course, to work out our choreography in the desert with Ringo, who's one of the horses at their stable. And, of course, with my production team, Triple G Productions, we all kind of came together and helped make this thing come to light. And I was so blessed that my director, Joseph, and I really saw like eye to eye on exactly what the vision was and made the video into what it is today.
Good. I love that. I love that you're so close with your production team. I think that is definitely going to say the best thing that a musician can have, because sometimes production team can do the opposite, or they could do something that maybe you don't like.
Oh, yeah. No, egos were all aside. I'm super lucky. They're such a great team to work with, and we are so open to the exchange of ideas. So I'll come to the table with something, and Joseph will be like, okay, that's cool. Okay, what else do you think about this? What about this here? And shooting it kind of, you know, with these visuals in mind and piecing things together in a certain way. And I loved working with them. They are also the ones who did the Daddy's Creed music video. We also just shot another music video with them recently, which I can't necessarily talk too much about right now because the song hasn't even been announced yet. But the video is done and it looks so good, and I cannot wait for people to see that one as well. But yeah, no, just an amazing team, and I'm really blessed that we all work together so well.
I was going to say, when I was taking a look at your website, you know, just to get a better idea of like you as a person, as a musician, and everything, I was vibing to, was it No Prince Charming? One of your songs? Not like
yes, yeah, No Prince Charming. You got it right.
And I was just like, wow, this song is beautiful. It was just fun. It reminded me so much of like driving down the streets with your windows like down, hair flying out, or like with a sunroof or hands up while you're driving. Like it just feels so free and exciting to just listen to and be a part of, you know, like relate to the song completely.
Well, thank you. Yes, that was one of my older ones. I did that one when I was, goodness, like 16 or so, but that was such a fun one to bring to life. I worked on that song. I wrote it with Brian Cuban and Donnie Grubb. Donnie brought the kind of concept of the song to us and was like, hey, you know, obviously this is for a girl. What do you think about working on it? So then we took it from there and built up the rest of the frame of it and put the instrumentation to it. And it became what it is today. And that one also has a really fun music video as well, a little bit of a throwback. But yeah, I love the lightheartedness, and that's really what we try to get. It's fun. It's kind of sassy. It's like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I know better.
Yes. And it's just it's definitely something different that you don't hear a lot out there, especially being a country artist. So it's great that you have your own flavor and your own twist to stuff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Different on the radio. And a lot of the country music on the radio does try to pull in some pop here and there. And it's like, maybe you shouldn't. You know?
Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're all influenced by our modern ways, definitely to an extent. But I always try to make that effort to draw more from the roots of country music and the traditions of country music, again, because I love those sounds and what they bring to the table. I love being able to work with my musicians in studio in person. So It's like everything you hear, there's no synthesized, you know, fake kind of machine driven sounds. They're all players that are in the studio working with us in that moment. So yeah, I mean, that's what I love about country music as a genre. And again, like I said, we all kind of have some influences with our modernness and stuff. That's just the time that we live in. But, you know, like I said, the roots, I think, is where the heart and soul of country music really lies.
Well, definitely with being in the pandemic and everything, I'm sure that you had a lot of time to maybe write more music as to your album that you're going to be releasing shortly. And maybe, did you pick up any different, like, tasks or learn anything over the pandemic that maybe you didn't know before?
Yeah, no, so I definitely took the downtime of the pandemic to pick up some new skills, particularly in the music realm. So I picked up the violin while we were down for the count, as well as the mandolin. I have a banjo that I just recently got, so it's kind of messing around with that. But yeah, definitely added
Super
those
easy
sounds
instruments.
into my tool belt. Yeah, very busy in that regard.
Well, what type of instruments do you play besides the violin, banjo, mandolin?
So I have obviously trumpet from my childhood, but I also play acoustic guitar. And prior to, those were really the only two instruments that I had like a strong foundation in.
Yeah.
So definitely being able to add the violin and stuff into the mix, as well as mandolin and, like I said, banjo just recently, has been really fun. I love having the different diversity of sounds in the house. And of course, when I'm writing and stuff too, I can always pick up those things now as well and kind of experiment with those sounds and be like, I wonder what this would sound like in here.
Would you ever maybe think about pulling up or picking up piano?
So it's not necessarily out of the game. It's just one of those things where it's a coordination deal. I also have little hands. So learning guitar was like one thing in the coordination department, but the stretch sometimes needed for the piano is a little bit difficult. But if I really sat myself down to really work on it, I'm sure I could do all right as far as the piano goes. It's not right now on my list of things to do, but it definitely could be in the future.
Down the line, you know, something like that, like something else to pick up maybe. But I find that really exciting that you had a chance to get to either pick up different instruments, or maybe if you were looking into, like, I don't know if you do your own editing or something on the side either. You know, just different skills that you can pull as a musician that you didn't know before.
Yeah, no, I even got the time to really do some more editing kind of skills with like the different Adobe suites and everything.
Yeah.
So Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere Pro, those sorts of things too, which again, I utilize every day for the most part. So yeah, definitely took a lot of time out of, you know, the whole everything was shut down and everybody was in their house to learn some skills needed that I could now bring better content for my fans.
You can, and you could still do live videos for your fans. So you still had that one-on-one socializing time where it kind of was like, I'm still here. Don't forget about me. You know?
Yes. Yeah. For us, it's every single Friday on our Facebook Live, pretty much without fail. We will be there for everyone. And during this time, I also added Instagram on Tuesdays conveniently for everybody. So I do an Instagram Live most Tuesdays as well. So the live broadcasts have been really awesome for us to stay connected with our community and to help get the new music out there, especially during a time when, like I said, the world was kind of at a standstill for a moment. We kept finding ways to keep moving forward with what we're doing. So love that we were able to bring things to life. That was a really big goal of mine, was to have a single come out last year, and that was Daddy's Creed. So that was a huge milestone for us. And then of course, now that things are kind of slowly opening back up again for us to get back out on the road, to continue releasing music, that's a really big objective of ours.
And even if it's just doing a couple shows in your hometown, you know, it's just another stepping stone to see what's safe out there for you guys, also being in a band. And how many pieces are you?
So as of right now, we are, including myself, will be a 4-piece group. So drums, lead guitar, and bass, as well as myself. Other times that we've been on the road, I have had 5. But for the type of show that we're planning and stuff right now, we are rocking a 4-piece.
4 is probably the safest and fun, you know. I mean, it was like you don't ever need any more, but it also depends what type of instrument you're trying to bring into your tour, you know. Like if you want to spice it up with some banjo with mandolin or something like that, part of the song.
Pretty much. So that's about the only part that we're not traveling with is our utility, which is usually our fiddleist, and you know, they play mandolin and stuff like that too. So yeah, or our pedal steel.
Okay. No, I think that's really exciting just to get out there. I mean, do you have anything booked now for you guys to go out there, or you're just still planning it?
No, we're still in the planning phase right now, so there's nothing on the books. However, if people want to know when things are, of course, I mean, social media is a great way to stay in touch. We also have a Bands in Town, which if you guys are on that, you can go and follow us there, and that gives you direct notifications anytime we have a show in your area, or even if we have live shows for streaming.
Yeah, I believe you message us on Bands in Town, because I have one.
Yes.
It's like it says you get a message from like Ashley Wineland. And I'll be like, there's a show upcoming in your neighborhood or something like that. So
yes, which is super nice. It's just an app that you can have on your phone, or even just it sends you emails and stuff with notifications for not just us, but for any artist that you follow. So it's a really great tool to stay in touch with the like live music scene happening in your area
that you can use and be a part of and everything. Yeah. Wow. Well, I definitely wanted to bring up, because I know this was an amazing, maybe one of the accomplishments that you never knew you had, but I heard that you got a chance to perform for NASCAR.
Yes, that was really exciting. We got to go and do that for the championships that happened at Phoenix Raceway back in, I think October was my very first time last year. Mm-hmm. And then I recently was able to do another national anthem for Phoenix Raceway just a couple weeks ago. But no, it was super, super exciting, especially for the championship race to be there in that moment. We love the racing community just as a whole. And so NASCAR was definitely on my bucket list of events to perform at, and Phoenix Raceway was super awesome to extend an invitation for the championships for us to come out there and for me to do the televised national anthem, which was a huge honor and so much fun, and we had a great time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure that you had a lot of fun with it, and I don't even think you ever get shy with when you sing or have stage fright or anything. But do you feel like were you nervous?
I think with the national anthem, there's always that like edge of anxiety that you'll never shake, just because it's that song everybody knows, and of course, you know, I want to do it justice, right?
And beautiful, yeah, like
you're singing in honor and in memory of everybody who has served for our country, gave their lives for us to be where we are as a nation today. For the people who are still out there doing that, and just be grateful for everything that we have here in the United States. So it's like that song has so much more than just it's your national anthem. There's a lot of weight behind it and a lot of people behind it as well. So again, you always want to do it justice. So there's always that smidge of like anxiety. It's like, oh, I hope I do a good job. But then there's also, with time and practice and doing it over and over again, the confidence that one, you just have in yourself, but two, the refining of just taking some deep breaths and calming yourself down before go time.
Yeah, or drinking water or talking to like maybe someone before you go on, and they're like, you got this, Ashley. Just picture everyone in their underwear.
Right, yeah. Everybody has their processes. Everybody has their steps to the routine that they all have to go through. And I definitely have mine. So like I said, it's one of those things that just gets refined over time.
What do you feel like you would say to maybe one of your fans or a listener that's out there that is interested in getting into music, but maybe they're scared of songwriting? What could they do?
So with getting into music, I guess it depends on what your intention is with music, right? Because there's a different attitude in the way you approach it if you're coming at it from a professional side of things. And if you're coming at it as just, I love music and I just want to enjoy music and do what I do, but I don't necessarily know how to get into elements, like you said, songwriting or playing an instrument and stuff. Like, I just don't know where to start. It's kind of intimidating. Yeah. And your mentality is always going to be different, right? Regardless of which way you go at it, I think the best thing to do is to be open to learning experiences and to be open to advice. And of course, in whichever way possible, whether that's through online or in person, connecting with the music community, either in your area or just on a broader spectrum. There's so many different groups that are for songwriters or for just musicians who love to play live, or singer-songwriters. There's so many different communities that you can connect with people in and pull from, and most importantly, to learn from. So again, it depends on your intention of what you want to do, but like, I think the best piece of advice is just to be like relaxed and stop putting so much pressure on yourself. be open to learning experiences and just go into it with a very open mind.
Wow, that's very inspirational. That's amazing. I think that could be the best advice that someone has given someone, because even if they don't have a good intention or they don't know what they're getting into, they have an idea of what they can do next.
Exactly. You know, yeah, like I said,
stepping stone.
So many different roads you could take. So just being open to those things and being open to learning, because you'll never stop learning in this industry. You know, just keep going. And like I said, be open to opportunities.
Now, when you perform sometimes, do you ever have anyone that either opens up for yourself, like being an artist that you are?
So I definitely have had some events where we've had people open for us. Typically when we're on tour, we do work with venues, and as part of that, we do offer them like, hey, if you want to have somebody in your area who you know and you trust, like, we're totally cool with openers, and it makes for a really cool show experience. We've met some really awesome musicians in their local areas doing that sort of thing where they open for us at a show like that.
Oh, that's nice. So, like, have you ever done any collaborations with them? Like, part of their music that you liked, was it ever anything that you wanted to maybe, like, collab with or anything down the line in the future?
I haven't had too many opportunities to collaborate with local artists, but I've definitely connected with a lot of people on our journeys and stuff. So, of course, I mean, those doors are always open.
Yes.
But, yeah, no, I haven't actually had too many opportunities to totally do collaboration work yet. But like I said, those doors are always open. And so when the things line up right, you know, and you find somebody that you connect with really well to do songwriting or any other sort of collaboration work, you know, it's always a really good feeling.
It is. And I think it's great that you can put that out there, though, that you might, you know, later down the line want to collaborate with someone. Or like on one of your songs or something, like you want to give another person that opportunity. I think that's beautiful. That really is. Now, Ashley, I was going to ask you, regardless, when you perform, whether it's just, have you ever just done solo by yourself on stage?
I have. Not very often do I do just solo by myself, even in like an acoustic setting. If we do like acoustic shows, I usually at least have Nick with me accompanying me on percussion, or even like in a 3-piece. But I definitely have done shows or even just small appearances and stuff where it's just been me, myself, and I and my instrument performing, and they're always fun. I love the energy having other people on stage brings, though, to play off of everybody, because I just think it brings that little extra element of life. And of course, you always get a fuller sound, which I love. Even like I said, in an acoustic setting, a more full, stripped down sound, as weird as that sounds, contradictory or whatever. But yeah, no, playing by myself, there's always that moment too where you're just kind of like, all right, just me, myself, and I.
You know, though, like that independence vibe where maybe like a fan or listener, anyone you have in the audience is like just amazed and shocked. Not even that you're doing it by yourself or whatever, but it's you've got the stage by yourself. You know what I mean? Like you control you got this. You're pulling it by its reins. And sometimes that's the independence that you need as a musician.
Yeah, no, I definitely think every artist should be comfortable being on stage by themselves, because I feel like you don't really develop your stagecraft to the level that it probably should be unless you have those experiences. I just did a special appearance in Florida a couple weeks ago, where I was up there just by myself with my guitar singing and just having fun. You get to really play off the audience at that point for those types of events. And pardon me, I just had like dust come in my throat. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, no problem. I apologize. I was like, you look like you were crying for a second, so I was getting anxious. I was like, is she okay?
I was trying to finish my sentence without having to get a drink of water, but
no, okay. You need water. You're a human being. You live off of water just like all of us.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, you play off the audience and you get to really have like a special and very unique connection with them in that moment.
Yeah. Or do you ever give them like the opportunity to the audience? I mean, now with Corona, I don't know if it's going to change. It probably will. But like back then, did you ever give them the opportunity? Like maybe you brought the mic down to like and let them sing like part of the song with you?
So I did a lot
Okay.
of audience interaction, being in the audience, kind of things when we were on tour in years prior. So my favorite thing to do would be line dances with the audience. We would have songs in our set where we would do line dance songs like the Boot Scoot and Boogie by Brooks and Dunn, and I would go down there and kind of do a quick run through of the line dances with everyone, and then we would play the song and I would be down on the floor with the audience dancing to the song. So that's one of like my personal favorite ways of getting in the audience and
Like
having that
interaction.
sort of connection with them. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. I miss those days.
I'm actually going to be honest. I've never heard any country artists or musicians say that they've live danced with you or their fans. I think you're the very first one for that, but that sounds like
fun. There you go. No, it's such a fun moment in the shows, and I know everybody loved it. And like I said, I miss those days because that was always just so much fun to have those moments where it's like, all right, everybody, get out on the dance floor. We're doing the Boot Scooter. We're doing Copperhead Road. And just everybody being like, okay, especially in places where dancing's apparently not really a big thing. Teaching everybody a line dance real quick and then running through and just seeing that like excitement of like, oh, I just learned a new skill too, as well as gotten to dance with the band.
Or seeing like who actually learned it and who didn't. But it's still fun because they're dancing, they're having a good time.
Yes.
Now, with your album that you are still releasing, do you have a theme for it? Like it's still in progress, I believe, correct?
Yes, it's still in production phase. We're coming close to like the 3/4 end kind of zone of it, but there's still some work to be done. But if I had to say if there was an overarching theme to this album, it's definitely that of self-empowerment and learning to trust yourself and be confident in who you are. That's especially in the period of writing all the music for the album. That's where I was in life, was just needing to really dig down deep and grab the reins of my life and to know like, hey, you got this, right? Like you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you any different. There was a lot of things that were just coming up that I was like, oh my goodness, feeling like Atlas holding the world on the shoulders, just trudging through like really rough times, just one after the other, kind of punching bag situation. But songs were my way to reassure myself and to really connect with myself that like, hey, you have this, you have power. Only you can change what's going on in your life and how you perceive it and think about it. And so, yeah, again, these songs were my outlets to really bring those thoughts and feelings to life and to kind of explore through the feelings and the situations that I was going through. So, yeah, definitely an overarching theme of self-empowerment and believing in who you are. So hopefully when people listen to all the upcoming songs, they get to see that theme kind of throughout.
But do you feel like a lot of it maybe also came from the pandemic last year? Like, I know the way you were writing some of the songs that you said, or it was like a punching bag situation where things weren't going right and it was one thing after the other. The pandemic didn't help. I'm sure of that.
No, it didn't help at all. But it was really like, I'd say like the start of the pandemic was really just that kind of final moment of like, like the sucker punch in the gut kind of thing that I was experiencing, because there were things that were happening before that. And then it was just kind of like the final nail in the coffin. It was just when everything shut down. But I am so grateful in a way that it did, because I had that time then to really just have those moments where I was like, eyes open, all right, like I pulled my head out and I can see things for what they really are. And like I said, start that journey of, kind of recovering and believing in myself even more and pushing through. And we really got this project kind of going and off the ground not too long after everything was kind of like locked down.
Okay.
And stuff. So it became my passion project. And like I said, my goal was to have a single come out by some point last year. And we were able to kind of sneak it in right before the end with Daddy's Creed and the music video for that. And that was just kind of like our, big high five moment as a team. Like, we didn't know if we were going to be able to do it, but we found ways to do it. And we worked with incredible people, like I said, with my production team, Triple G Productions, and everybody just really coming together to be like, yeah, like, let's make this happen. And then from there, the engine's just kind of been rolling on, and we keep adding more, like I said, to what we're doing with the tour planning. And of course, like I said, with more singles coming out and the album coming out eventually. So we have a lot to do, and we're all really motivated to get it done. So it's been a blessing in disguise.
It's super exciting for you. And I think it's also fun because do you ever get a chance to do a lot of interviews? I mean, maybe when you were like, not back in the day, but like versus last year, I'm sure maybe you had chances to like do interviews like in person kind of thing, or just sitting down, getting a chance to talk about your music or, opportunity of what's upcoming.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we toured and stuff in the years prior, a lot of the interviews and stuff that we did were obviously geared around the shows that we were doing, the place that we were going to be, of course, the music, but because I was touring so much, I didn't have really a lot of time in between tour runs to work on music. So with everything that happened this past year, I did have that time to develop music. And honestly, it was my only option to work on music or just sit and do nothing. So I chose to work on new music and go out and build on that repertoire. So now, of course, obviously no in-person stuff, but I've had the blessings of being able to come on shows like this one and talk about the new music and do interviews and stuff, which has been really nice about, these platforms like StreamYard or Zoom and stuff like that kind of coming to fruition, is it does make these sorts of things more possible and to connect with people all over. So it's like I said, been a blessing in disguise in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, no, seriously, I think that's, you can do this one. Hi, Ashley. Sorry, my dad's trying to do all the comments as well as there's still so many comments coming in. It's crazy.
When they get going, they get going.
Yes, that's really good for you. I'm so glad. But I wanted to ask you also, where did you get the opportunity to meet Kiki? I know Kiki is your public relations who contacted me, but she's the sweetest. So.
She is, and she's awesome. No, it's really interesting how I came to meet Kiki. So Kiki used to be based out of Arizona, and of course, for anyone who doesn't know, she also runs a global publication called Ion Indie Magazine. And so when I was about 15, she had reached out to me to do a small feature within Ion. And so we met out at a place called the Hitching Post in Apache Junction. I brought my band. We performed and stuff for her and her photographer. And what ended up being was supposed to be just a small feature, ended up actually being a cover story for us. So we had the cover of the December issue for that year and really got to connect with her through that. And she has just been so supportive of everything that I've done from the get-go, and just loved what we were and what we were doing as an operation, that she was like, I want to be able to support you and help you in any way possible. So she joined the team not too long after that as our public relations person, and has been with me since then. And she has just been such a blessing. She's the one who helps design all of our graphics, does all of our media outreach and all that good stuff. But yeah, she wears many hats within our group. Like I said, a small but mighty team. And without her, I'm like, I don't know what we would do someday.
Oh, no, seriously, that's definitely amazing. She is such a sweet person. And I know that she reached out to me a few times when I was trying to schedule you and book you. And I felt so bad sometimes because when I would respond, and you respond quick, there's a lot of typos. So sometimes she doesn't know what I was saying. And I promise I don't speak a different language. But to
No,
her, it was just great getting to know her, and especially having you today. You know,
oh,
she
of course, yeah. Super excited to be here. Yeah, Kiki's hands fly across the keyboard. I cannot keep up with her at all. She's definitely got those typing skills that we all desire, but
she's putting you out all over the world.
She's such a critical part of our team, and she is definitely Johnny on the spot when it comes to replying to things and getting stuff scheduled.
Yes, and that's the best thing to have with a management team, because you are signed artists, correct? You have a manager, right? You have a
No, actually, I'm independently managed right now, so I'm working with a good manager right now. Her name's Kim Miller, and yeah, so not necessarily signed, but she's been really helping me kind of direct our way through.
Put yourself out there more. And Kiki does that also with the relations and posting. I think she mentioned your social media and everything like in the beginning of the interview, like the beginning of the email, and then brought all down, and then she sent me all your press releases and all your pictures, and I'm just like, oh,
yes.
look at her, she's prepared.
Yeah, oh no, she's got the whole package together.
Yeah, no, that's definitely amazing. Ashley, this would be the time right now in the middle of the interview if you could just give out all your social media, and if you also wanted to talk about your merchandise.
Of course. So I have a lot of places that you can find me. Of course, the easiest way to get like quick links to anything is, of course, my website, ashleywineland.com. If you just type in Ashley Wineland or Ashley Wineland Music into any of your social media search bars like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that sort of thing, you will find my profiles there. I am a verified page on Facebook and Instagram, so connect with me there. I also have a TikTok as well, joining in on that whole community. But of course, like I said, if you can't remember any of that, you can remember ashleywineland.com, which has, again, quick links to all that social media, anywhere where you can stream or download my music. You can also find it through the website as well. And of course, while you're there, I do have an online merchandise store, so we have some of our newer merchandise items available. I also just recently dropped some items from the vault, which are pieces from some of my very first merchandise lines that we found for you guys. So we put them back up there at discounted rates for you guys to enjoy. There are limited sizes and quantities, however, in the From the Vault collections. So just keep that in mind when you go in there. However, for our newer merchandise, like our new Ashley Wineland logo t-shirts, the pictures, the hats and stuff, those are available in all sizes and stuff for everybody. So we have those items in stock for whoever and wherever. And of course, we do international shipping as well. So for anybody who might be watching outside of the US, you can still order merchandise from us. And of course, to stay in touch on everything, get special behind the scenes footage and all that good stuff, I also have a fan club, which you guys can sign up for free through my website, ashleywineland.com as well.
And with your fan club, what is the type of promotions and connections that they get from that as well?
So depending on what we have going on at the time, fans could get discounts for the online merchandise store. They also get early access to special behind the scenes footage. Like if you go on YouTube right now, you can see that I have a behind the scenes video from our I'm Gonna Ride music video shoot. The fan club got that like weeks before it actually came out for the public to see on the internet. So early access to that sort of stuff. They've also had help picking out merchandise designs. So when I have t-shirt options and stuff that I'm looking at, you guys get to help make the final decision of what actually goes out into the store. They've helped pick out album cover photos and stuff before. So just a lot of collaboration and everything within the fan club, as well as, like I said, early access and sneak peeks into things that nobody else gets to see, or at least they have to wait quite a while before they see it.
Is there anything more like discounted tickets and stuff too that you might do on your fan club?
Definitely. Like I said, we're not necessarily at a place right now where we're doing things for shows. But fan club's a way to stay in touch, and yeah, if tickets and stuff go on sale, they definitely will have special access to that sort of information. So
that's so much fun. I love how amazing you are with your fans, like how connected you are and how you're socializing, and even every minute, even when you're busy, you still have a chance to reach back out and connect with them. I mean, like you said, every Friday you do your live show on Facebook with your band member. And
yes,
you guys, what do you just sing your songs? You do any covers?
so we sing a mixture of our originals and some of our favorite country songs. So we'll take requests for songs that people want to hear throughout the week and perform what we can on Fridays. But yeah, it's a focus on our original music and some of our favorites as well. So just a heads up to anybody who might be watching too, because I know it's been an issue with some people in the community. Like I said, all my pages are verified. However, I do not respond to direct messages because that is a big method for spam accounts and hackers and all that stuff. They like to get at you through your direct messages. So I do not respond to DMs, but however, I do love to stay in touch with you guys again through the fan club. If you comment on my posts and stuff, you will very likely get a response back on my post as well. So those are just some ways that we love to stay in touch and keep everybody safe at the same time.
That was the first time I actually found that out too, because Kiki told me. I was like, do I email her the link? Because she told me she wasn't going to be able to tune into this interview today. And I was like, oh, she's like, no, she doesn't respond to direct messages. I was like, oh, so how is she going to get the link?
Yeah,
no. Accept to that. I was like, I guess we'll find out something. So
yes, no, unfortunately, like I said, there's been issues with hackers, spam accounts, people trying to, lure people in for money. So we just want everybody to stay safe. And unfortunately, as part of that, that means that I do not respond to direct messages. But like I said, through comments and everything else, those are tons of ways to stay in touch with me.
It keeps you extremely exclusive, though, too.
I mean, there is that. Yeah.
Fan club, like, oh my goodness, there's no way to get in touch with her. Like, she won't respond on this, but she'll respond secretly, maybe on this. So you're promoting both ways, and actually, that's a safe way for yourself, though. Being a musician, sometimes you really
like I said, we want to keep everybody else safe as well. It's not just a personal safety thing; it's a safety for our community. So yeah, there's different ways that we stay in touch, and I love to communicate with everybody. So
I love that so much. I know we're getting ready to end the show shortly, but we still have your tracks we're going to close the show with, so we can still play them even though Facebook will be done. And we want the world to know who Ashley Wineland is. But I wanted to
thank you.
My father, Doc G, who's here right now.
Oh,
did you have anything you wanted to say to Ashley? I know you were tuning in and being
Hi, I'm impressed by your music. And
He loves
thank you.
I love everything about you.
He's
You're a
the
country
sweetest.
girl. You're an awesome person, and you're just want to give back to the fans. What more could you want from a country artist? You remind me of Terry Clark when she started out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I love Terry's music, so that's a huge compliment.
Yeah, and Terry's actually a friend of mine on Facebook too, but I don't.
Wow, how cool.
We're really excited to have you here, and hope sometime we can have you back in the future.
Well, thank you again so much for having me here today. Huge thank you to everybody who's tuned in for the interview and stuff. I know a lot of you guys have stayed through the whole thing, so I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for supporting me. Thanks for supporting independent shows like DJ Dani's and all that good stuff. So
yes, I'm very blessed to have you. Do you want me to have her do a sweeper?
It's up to her. If she like to, sure.
May I have you do a radio station ID tag for us, please?
Sure. Do you have any preferences of what I say or like what I need to put in there?
So you're gonna say your name. Whatever like way you want to say your name is fine. And you're gonna say you're listening to the DJ Dani show.
Okay.
And then the second one is you're gonna be listening to Hamilton Radio.
You can say all in one too.
Okay. All right.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, cool. Here we go. Hey, my name is Ashley Wineland, and you're listening to the DJ Dani show. And hey, my name is Ashley Wineland, and you're listening to the DJ Dani show on Hamilton Radio.
Perfect. Thank you so very much, Ashley. I really want to stay in touch with you and Kiki. And if there's any music that you guys have, I know she sent me the 2 tracks, but any music you want to send over here at Hamilton Radio, we'd love to play you and support you. Absolutely. We can even get your music in Australia if you like.
I appreciate that so very much. Like I said, we have quite the global community as well, so that means the world to me. So thank you for helping to support independent music. And of course, again, to everybody who's watching this and stuff, you are a part of the community that helps independent artists like myself keep going. So you're all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you all so much. And we're going to be getting off Facebook right now. But if you guys tune into Hamilton Radio right now, we're going to be playing I'm Gonna Ride and Daddy's Creed. So make sure you tune in. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.